Let's now start off with the Standard, where we have, Unease in NASA over Raila's list. And this is after some coast leaders came out literally to reject the list that was given to Parliament for them to ahead. But again, seeing trouble within NASA, as expected, especially with this, with the cabinet coming up.
Yeah, it's very true. I think one of the things that we need to appreciate is that when it comes to issues of politics, that interest is always at stake. And these people feel that they have invested heavily in NASA, and therefore it's time for them to be rewarded. So if people are not rewarded, then that becomes the problem within itself. But I think within, the NASA coalition, there has to be an understanding that when it comes to the giving of this kind of positions, that there are so many things that come into play, which I believe that the leadership then put into consideration. And if not, then I think, according to some of the statements that have been put forward, is that there are still other positions where they can be able to hold. So I think it should not necessarily be about personal interest, even though there needs to be a regional balance. At the end of the day, all political parties need to understand that there is, and it is time for us to work together so that we can move forward.
But then the question, I think, that was being raised from these particular politicians who were complaining is the fact that the list seems to favor ODM as a party, as opposed to, NASA now as a coalition. There should be a selection, a few from here, a few from there, but majority seem to be drawn from ODM.
Oh, it could be true, but the other thing they need to see, what is the percentage of the representation from people from that particular side? If a particular side brings in more people, then the understanding is that then naturally that side will be highly represented. And if a particular side does not bring in more people, then, there couldn't be that in particular. So I think these are issues that they need to discuss within themselves and be able to come to a consensus.
All right. And that, of course, again, brings in the question of merit and who is able to perform. Because at the end of the day, you get the feeling it's like a reward system. Since you stood with me, let me give you a reward on this. But then for the Kenyans, really what we want is somebody who can perform, somebody who's able to do their job and do it properly.
Yes, and I think it is time for us to appreciate that if somebody can be able to do the job, it does not necessarily matter where they come from. Because what is the point of putting somebody from your region and they are not able to perform? So we need to up our game and be able to appreciate performance more than all this. And this is back to all this tribal dialogues and narrative that we have in this country, that we are still so pegged on issues of my people and our representation at the expense of us moving forward and be able to come up, with people who can do the job. And that's why we keep, seeing issues of corruption and issues of, the economy going down, because we give these positions to people who sometimes are not able to perform.
Not deserving, but based on certain categories that possibly keep us in that quagmire. But also looking